My name is Mike Chen, and I'm Cloud Solution Architect in Data and AI from Microsoft Hong Kong. I've been working in database, big data areas for 8 years now, including to set up a data platform, tuning Spark query, and develop some Power BI reports. So today I want to share with you how to make use of the latest AI technology on your unstructured data. So by means of unstructured data, we mean those data you never thought you can analyze on it. So say, for example, PDF, PNG files, JPEG, or even Excel files, or Word documents and PowerPoints. So those files are analyzable with the latest AI technology. So in this section, we will examine the Azure Cognitive Search function, this new product on how do we analyze those data from unstructured data, and then how to make use of it. What is the three phases of the knowledge mining, and then how do we finish it with the Azure portal to use the interface easily. So let's get started.
So I assume you guys can see my screen. Yeah. So we'll go through the making sense of your unstructured data with AI today. As I mentioned, it's about Azure Cognitive Search. We will examine more details like demos, creating a resources, how to design a custom skills, and what is the meaning of custom skills. Exactly will be covered today as well. So let's get started. So you can see a lot of just 3 pages. 3 pages of invoice here. So they are in PDF format. As you can see, the table is not that obvious, I would say. They have different formats of invoice. Invoice table, different roll numbers, and then different kind of information hidden, say for example, company address, company's day, and then what is the postal code of the company. So this kind of information is different from, is vary from within different invoices, and then they have total amount. So in the past, if you have to deal with this kind of documents, it's really struggling for you because you have to extract all the information. Say, for example, if you deploy an OCR solution, you don't have any logics within the document. It's just a blank paper, and then it gives you all the text in word form. So we want to make sense of it. Say, for example, if your boss asks you, okay, I have different years of invoice, Mike, and I want to extract all the information. Get me the sales number in 2011, say for example. It could be this way, right? So, and your boss is telling you, okay, I store all the information for you already in one single one single file system in a single directory. So this is what happened, and then you can have one data directory. You can have multiple PDF. So as you can see, the number is huge, which makes you want to give up on, okay, you cannot do it manually, right? You wouldn't want to do that, 12,000. So that's how the AI will be coming to the workplace and then help you to work. So you have different PDF, and then each PDF is, it amounts for 10 gigabytes. So it's massive. I mean, this number. So 11 folders, 11 years. And there comes the solution. We want to introduce you to you Azure Cognitive Search, which is our unstructured data analyzer. So it can take a lot of data sources and then make sense of it, and then it gives you some sensible output. It's a search as a service as well, Cognitive Search. It's just recently renamed. So we have lots of demos that it actually come from Azure Search, which is the previous name of the same product. So it's recently renamed as Azure Cognitive Search, which makes sense to me actually, because we actually have something called Azure Cognitive Service. If you didn't heard about it, I will also talk about it today as well. So come back to here, we have Azure Cognitive Search, and then it's a search as a service. So management fee because you don't manage infrastructure at the end of the day. And then you have the keyword search. So just imagine that in the previous example, you have different PDF in your documentation. But what about you're not just some structured invoice, you're taking a look at some advertisement paper, say for example, you want to extract some keywords from there as well. Especially in the case of name card, that's still popular in business world, right? So this kind of thing that you can analyze from those paper, JPEG, etc. So we have facing. If you don't know what's the meaning, I will show you in the example as well. We have language analyzer. Say for example, sentiment research, whether the paper of writing the TripAdvisor article is the writer happy or not with your hotel experience. So those kind of things you can do with a default skills as well. I will talk about skill set later. And then we have suggestion, and then we have autocomplete. Autocomplete, which means if you deploy as a search engine, search page, you can have the auto completion of the search result as well. And then proximity search, because it's at the end of the day, what you will be using is something called Apache Lucene in the search query. So that's why we have so much extended search capability within the Azure Cognitive Search product. So we'll go through a quick demo, but before that, I want to talk about some basic, how do we convert those PDF to knowledge that we can mine in the process. So other than just the PDF we have shown to you in structured format, so take a look on this paper. We have HTML, we have TIFF file, and then we have Word document, really popular today, right? And then PDF, some photos, and especially we also have the capability to OCR on top of the photo. I will demo later. And then we have another PDF that which means it's different. This one is the letter, and then you can see this one is actually an application form. You can extract the data from here as well using the AI. And then PowerPoint, which I'm using now because we can do a notch of lateral LMP on top of the documentation as well. So the pattern is simple. We talk about 3 phases of the Azure Cognitive Search. What can it do for you? We ingest the data in any format, any Azure store, not really any actually, but most of the supported format and Azure store that you will store your data. And then the second phase is the enrich. Enriching is the point that once the data is ingested, you want to make some sense out of the data. So we apply different connective skills on top of your unstructured data, and then make it sensible, make it analyzable. So that's what we will be doing with the Azure Cognitive Search. So different kinds of annotations, etc. And then we have the Explorer. Azure Cognitive Search not only giving you the data analytics capability, but also it gives you an interface of the searching engine. In the example or in the real world, you can deploy a default web app as the search engine. We are not covering this part today because I do think that if you're interested in knowledge mining, you wouldn't normally an expert in web application. But once I show you some example on the internet, you will make sense of it. You will know what we are doing in the background. So that's the pattern of what we're going through today with Azure Cognitive Search. And then let's change the approach. If you don't mind, I want to give you, okay, you know what I mean by data sources, right? And then I want to show you what is the outcome of if we are doing it correctly with the Cognitive Search. So I already opened some example we finished, we completed with Azure Cognitive Search. So JFK files, I bet you already heard of this sample, this demo. If you don't, I can tell you a more background on that one. So JFK files is CIA published all of the paper, PDF, I want to say hardware paper, but no, real paper that containing all the information about the president of United States that was assassinated. So we call the serious file. I think it's more than 20,000 of pages of documentation from the CIA. So Microsoft gather all the information and then in PDF file, in some newspaper that convert all the digital format, and then it gives you an ability of the searching. So remember the three phases. So we have the ingest, enrich, and explore, right? So hereby we will talk about the search first because the ingest is easy. So so we have the documentation, all of them already scanned and enriched. The result you will see here is in the JFK portal, you can search anything related to your data ingest. So if I search Oswald, I will have all the scanned words here, and then because it's complex of the OCR capability, so you also see, okay, I already have this this entry in the handwritten, and then you can find, okay, so this is the guy, and then he has some profile, what we're researching with that, and then etc. So if you search another keyword, it gives you another example. So gun, say for example, if you want to search which gun store you buy the gun from, so we can also look into the detail as well. So which store, and then so apparently this is the investigation testimonial or transcript of the investigation. You can see, okay, he's asking, okay, some kind of information, and then which store owner, what's the clothing, etc. So it's really interesting. And then if you search just the gun, you will have even more information from that one. It's just not about OCR or text, but it also gives you a relational data that you can make sense of it because it understands your documentation. Okay, so that's why we bring the AI. So if you click on that one, it gives you a network diagram that each keyword is the AI thing meaningful, and then it collects to you. So gun shop, I used the wrong way. I should be using gun shop. And then I have the gun, which one is the owner. As you can tell, it's closely related. It understands your paragraph, your PDF to determine, okay, whether the gun and the owner are those keywords correlated. And then it gives you also another keyword that you think, okay, maybe you want to deep dive on that one as well. So hereby you can tell, okay, Azure Cognitive Search, it giving you a internal Bing for you to search through the data, and then you have a different search pattern. You have the connective skill set. The data could be stored from block storage because it's just PDF. So you want to find a place to place all of the files. So that's how it goes. And then you have custom skills, connected search. We have different services, and then Azure Search connect all the data from there. And if you are defining a custom skills, you also have the Azure functions. And we'll extend the Cosmo DB later on, but it's not yet that important from here. And then so here are the three phases in the real world. So this one is ingest. And then you apply the skill set to enrich it. Finally, you have a search place, perform your searching on your own data. So I want to give you another example later. We'll go back to the slide and continue, because later on I will show you a real world one, because this one is about how do we utilize all of the New York available jobs in the Azure Search. So save it for later. We go back to the slide. Yep. So once you have the pattern, and then you have zooming in, it just source data, you crack the document, you make sense of it. You want to expose all the information to your own knowledge base. So that's how it goes. And then you will enrich it. You apply different kind of connective skills. So say, for example, keyword extraction, and then facial detection is one of them. And then you can merge the text as well. And then you have OCR is common nowadays, right? So you have different skill set. If our own default skill set not satisfied with, you're not satisfied with the default skill set, you can always write your own custom skills. So that's how it goes. And then you have the enrichment pipeline. Say, for example, every morning you want to define an indexer to update all the index on which you enrich the document. So that's possible as well with our Azure Cognitive Search. And then in the last part, you have the search index. You can define web app. You can use the Lucene to query the data. I don't think I can cover the Lucene part today, but if you're interested, you can always go online to find some resources. Today, we'll focus on more like a default star scenario. I'll give you some generic example on how do we perform searching efficiently. So about the ingest part, we have different built-in connectors. I'm not sure you heard of that. You can place the file in the block storage, which basically you can place every file in the block storage. And then in the Azure SQL, our DBMS, so it's one of the supported connector today to ingest your data. So say for example, you place a really large text file in the columns, and then you want to make sense of it. So it's possible as well. Sorry. And then you have the Cosmos DB, the NoSQL, and then Azure Table as well, and another NoSQL simulate storage. And then you have MySQL, Azure Files, and ADLS Gen 2, which actually are data lake services. And then within those file systems, you can also have different formats. PDF, which is a really popular data storage for unstructured data today. We can make sense of it, and then there are lots of JSON files today, right? So when you're calling some API, or you're working on some NoSQL, or you even get some data from, I don't know, elsewhere, you can have a JSON file. We can ingest the data from the JSON file as well. And then PDF, as I mentioned, PNG, JPG, BMP, as those graphical is definitely supported as well. So you can OCR the data from there. You can facial detection from there, and you can even recognize some of the landmark from those pictures as well. So say for example, if you go to TripAdvisor and you download a lot of PDF, and then you have some pictures within the TripAdvisor reviews, you can identify those landmarks within the papers, within the photos as well. So because it's integrated with our AI knowledge base. Yeah. And when they ingest, you perform the document cracking, you extract the text, you extract the metadata, you extract the images from this PDF. So what do we mean by metadata is that we want to talk about, okay, how many pages, what is the structure of the data, how many key phases we want to extract from there, what is the documentation content within that. And then we have the images, which is easy to understand. You have JPEG, PNG, or you have some images like a celebrity, Leonardo DiCaprio, for example, your pictures pasted here, we can recognize him as well. Sorry. Then you have the enrich. You have the information gathered from those extracted information, and you want to make sense of it. You want to identify a landmark. So just I mentioned, you can definitely identify whether any Great Britain, London landmarks. So say for example, Tower Bridge is easy to identify, right? And then we have the celebrity recognition. Andy now, if you are in GCR region, and then Leonardo DiCaprio, global celebrity. And then we have person's entity extraction. You can teach him which one is who. So you can also identify that one as well. And then location entity, it relates to the partial support of the Azure Cognitive Search. We cannot cover this one today, but I think it's easy to understand. And then we have the key phrase extraction. And many people are asking me is that, can we teach the AI which key phrases are the one we wanted? So the answer is yes. We can definitely train the AI. So that's the machine learning going from, right? So you can tell him, no, you can tell the AI, don't identify on gender. So you can tell the AI, okay, I want to get more information on the, say for example, the competitors' names. If I'm McDonald's, I want to identify KFC, maybe, I don't know. So you want to, okay, every time you see KFC on those documents or newspaper, you get back to me, and then you index those ones. I want to learn from KFC, how do they make the chicken so tasty, things like that. And then you have the organization entity extraction, which means that you can also define some entity like UN, which document mentioning UNICEF, and then some banking, etc. You can extract those information as well. And then phrase detection, whether there is a phrase within the document. If yes, how old or which gender is it belongs to. So this kind of thing we call one skill. So this one is special, it's custom skills. So if these things cannot satisfy you, you can write your own, develop your own custom skills. We'll cover that one later on as well, but we'll go through with the default one first. And then you have the sentiment analysis, whether the paper from the test, if I write some review, whether I'm happy or not, and then language detection, which language I'm using. So this one is easy. And then you have the tag extraction. So what is the difference between the key phrase extraction and then the tag extraction? I will get you that later on this one because we have the example to describe it. But if you think about it, it's just easy because you can make use of the tagging already within the tag. And then finally, you have the plain text recognition. It's not just for plain text. It's just another identification, differentiation between another skills from the text analytics, which is the OCR. So both of them is supported. And then you have fully text searchable which index. So once the information processed by the enrichment, all of them are indexed. So you can search through. So we will talk about the enrich of the sample skill set, or I have been referring to default skill set. You can have, say for example, if you test, you can merge the test. Okay, before that, you want to extract the image definition. You want to extract the object from the images. You want to facial detection once done, and then plain text recognition, and then merge the text on the same PDF. And then make it searchable. So that makes sense, right? And then organization entity, etc. Let's get some real world example. Yeah, and also the custom skills, yeah. And then you can explore the data, and then, so this one is the search engine pages. If you go to Search Explorer of the service, you can find all the information like the content, what kind of print task it extracted to, and then what is the ranges, proximity, term boosting. Term boosting is for like if you are ranking those search keywords, how do you make a sense of the ranking? You boosting some terms. So that's just like a search engine, to be honest. And then you can have filter. Sorry. And then you have wildcard and prefix. So this one is interesting. If you take a look on this web pages, this is already processed the enrichment and injection and enrichment. So you're now at the third phase, which is the searching. If you take along on this keyword string, you'll find that I'm using a wildcard here, and then client equal to true, which means that it will give me also the counting at the end of the document, the search result. And then it will only give you the filter whether it's equal to invoice, person, or country that is equal to German. So you're interested in to search for German within your documentation, and then you're not sure which document gives you the result. So that's how it goes. Imagine yourself, you're doing a Control F on top of 20,000 documents. It sounds powerful, right? So that's how we do it. And then you have connected search, and then okay, this one I think we already talked enough on that. Let's get some real work. So in this video, I'm going to play it and then pause it to introduce you how do you create a Azure Cognitive Search, and then how do you make use of it. So let's get started. So I already speed up the video so not to get you bored. So right now we are creating resource group. Of course, we are creating some demo, right? So we want to place it on the same resource group, and then we can delete it later. You don't have to follow each one by one, but when you go to the resource group, you can add those resources from there. Let's get to the part that I think is meaningful, because he is just creating the storage account to place those sample data. So if we go forward, we are going to, okay, we read the day, and then we have a storage account ready. As I mentioned in the ingestion part, we can define a container, right? The blob storage is one of the support the data storage, right? So when you create the container, you actually can place the data from there. So that's what we are doing, and then we add the container, and we upload those PDF to the container. So in the future, when you're doing that, you don't have to click it one by one. You can use the other service like Azure Data Factory to automate the process. So we just want to demo, okay, it's easy for you to upload and text it on the Azure Cognitive Search. So we are uploading 28 PDF file, and then we want to make sense of it. So right now we are creating a Azure Cognitive Search. Because of the time restriction, I cannot go through the pricing and much on the HADR, etc. thing. So we'll focus more on the functionality today. But if you can see here, we can define a price tier, and then we go just directly to create the resources and test it. So make sense of those PDF, and then once it's ready. So this one is the graph I want to talk about. When you create an Azure search, Azure Cognitive Search, I'm sorry, and then you have something called index. You can import the data. You can search it. So basically, this are already the major activity you can interact with an Azure Cognitive Search. Three keywords I want you to understand after this section is the first one is the indexes. So those things are the result of your enrich. Okay. So after you ingest the data, you apply some custom skill or default skills on top of the data, and then the final output is the indexes. And then we have the indexes. Indexes is the action. You want to apply some skill set, and then the process itself is called indexes. So you define how do you want to which columns you want to apply the skills, which output you want to put it in there in the indexes, and then you have the indexes. The third one is the skill set. How do you want to which AI model you want to use on your own data? So this is how it goes, and then you have indexes, and skill set. So it's straightforward, I would say. And then we go back, we go to continue, and then you import the data sources. Right now we're using the blob storage as I prepared for the demo, and then you have 28 PDF in the storage blob storage, right? And then if you go to container, you check how many files are there, and then you validate it. So it's quite easy to understand. And then you attach one of the connective services. So right now he's creating a new one, but we don't have to actually. In my demo, I already have one, and then, okay. The reason why we are creating some a new connective service is that each of the skill set actually will come from the default skills actually come from the connective service. So other than the custom skills, you already define and attach a connective service. So you can use those pre-trained AI within your Azure Cognitive Search. Let's continue, and then you define, okay, which service I want to use, what kind of enrichment you want to add. So right now, actually, what you're doing is actually in the indexes phases already. So it determines, okay, you will have something called a source data field, which is the merged content, those OCR data from your PDF, and then what kind of transformation you want to do with those data. So you want to recognize tests, you want to extract the locations, you want to extract some key phrases. Of course, you want to detect languages as well. Yeah. Sometimes you don't have to. Yeah. So you click, okay, I want to do all the task skill, and I want to recognize all of the images as well, identify celebrities, etc. So once you click on that one, you're actually already validating the indexes. So if you go by and then you define the analyzer, how many output fields you are expecting from those extraction, and then you can define the content, the key phases, and then tasks. You can define a data type here. Sometimes you want to define JSON. Sometimes it will go with the string. Yeah. And then you create an indexes here. So basically, you want to check how frequently your data to be in indexes. So this is how it goes. You already define a skill set. You already define indexes. So once the indexes finish executing, you can use the Search Explorer to search through the indexed data. So it takes some time to process, but it's usually quick. So when you refresh it, you will find the documentation count here already changed. Successfully applied, so index. And when you search with the artistic, the stars, you are getting all the results from the Search Explorer. So as you can see here, we are not only capturing those content, we're capturing the people, because we in the skill set we already defined we want to get some celebrity, right? And then name the entity is one of the used skill set as well. So that's why in the result set it will come back with the people. So later on, if you go back, okay, which organization, locations. So apparently it's not perfect. If you can see here in the locations, you can see load. So number, so it's ambiguous, right? But sometimes it can tell you, okay, I find a number something here. It should be related to locations. So it's not meant to be deterministic, to be honest, but it gives you, okay, I already extract some of the keyword based on your defined skill set, and then I can give you, okay, your defined skill set output, and then you can search for it. So this is how the search, Azure Cognitive Search works. It's really quick, real-life demo, but it gives you the idea, okay, how do we do that? So this is how we do it in a really straightforward example. And then we can examine all the other services, other thing as well. So with those invoices, we are successfully extracting locations, items, So this kind of thing, this thing, and then we put in the table storage later on as a knowledge base, but let's move forward. Adding new skills. New skills is easy. So other than the simple sample skills, you can add also a custom skills. I don't have time to go through this slides, but basically what you can do is you can define something called Azure functions, and then keep on triggering on that one, and then you can have the skill set, and then give you all the output. But just to mention that when you actually have the content at this, it just OCR the test. It didn't give you more context. So in this example, you can also add the skill set as the form recognizer, as the demo, and then it can give you a more unified experience on how do you utilize, especially on form data. So in container, we use the form adding a new skill called form recognizer, and the output when you call it within the Azure Cognitive Search, it not only gives you all the content we already have, it gives you a formulate relational structured data. As you can see here, we all extract all the key pair value test we search for, and then you have the test, you have another test, and then within the skill set, if you compare after you apply the form recognizer skills, you can see that you already have the name, which is Alan Mohata, the value, the key value pair, right? Text. And then if you go and by, you will have more example like the address, the city, all of them already ready for you to utilize as a search result. And then you can do downstream processing. I don't know, you report on that with Power BI. That's one of the possible things. And this is why how you adding in new skills was the benefit of that. I didn't have time to show up how do you adding that one. I apologize, but we'll definitely get there. And then when you're creating a skills, the skills we want to build. Okay, this one maybe I will skip him because it's just redundant to what we already done. What I've already mentioned, in the skills reference, one of the new preview structure is the PII detection. You can also detect any PII within your PDF, say for example, and then you can do GDPR scanning. I don't know, you just process the data accordingly. And then create skills, create custom skills. Basically, we just utilize the Azure functions. I want to skip this one as well, and then we try it all together. You apply different skill set, and then this one is the Azure functions. So it's one of the custom skill set, and then you define it in the box storage, and then within data. So this is the basic of the cognitive search. The source is the PDF, and then the last one is the next step is the enrichment by different skills, cognitive skills, and then it gives you the search index. So what is the missing part is that instead of search index, can I have some reporting? Yeah, you definitely. So we support a new functionality. It's called knowledge store. So you can put your enriched document in a relational or long relational. So basically, it should be long relational, to be honest. I mean, NoSQL data store. So in this example, you can find that you can place all the enriched document to analytics. So here we have a quick example on how do we deploy or placing the data after you enrich it and then replace it onto a table storage. So say, for example, in this one, I already extract those company name, and then I generate the key name using the form recognizer, and then I can place it on a table storage. So if you click on the company, you will find that I already have all the extraction key, and then all the information from those PDF are here sorted and searchable and Power BI reportable. So that's the meaning of knowledge store. And if you take a note on this one, so this is how you do it. You can also extract the information, play, enrich it, and then report on with the Power BI. So in summary of my section, I want to emphasize making unstructured data in with your AI is easy and testable. Many production already went through today. We ingest them, we enrich it with the connected skills, and then we also add in some custom skills, form recognizers as functions. We can put it on the Explorer to search it, so everyone can make use of it with the indexes. And then the last thing is we can also put it on the knowledge store and then report that, make sense of the data. So if you want to go further, so this one is one of the bootcamp I find online really interesting on knowledge mining. Thank you very much for watching.